Hello there. Let's talk about a truly fantastic group of plants, the acacias. You might know them by another name, perhaps wattle or even thorn tree. Whatever you call them, they are a fascinating and hugely important part of our natural world. These are not just simple trees and shrubs. They are survivors, providers, and engineers of the plant kingdom. They belong to a massive family with over 1,000 different species scattered across the globe. Each one has its own unique story, its own special way of coping with its environment, and its own role to play in the grand, interconnected web of life. It's a story of resilience, adaptation, and incredible generosity. The origins of this sprawling family are rooted deep in the ancient supercontinent of Gondwana. As the landmasses drifted apart millions of years ago, the acacias went with them, diversifying and adapting to new climates and new challenges. This is why we see them in so many different parts of the world today. While they are most famous for being the floral emblem of Australia, where they absolutely dominate the landscape with their golden blooms, their reach extends far beyond. You can find them basking in the sunshine of Africa, clinging to the arid soils of the Americas, and dotting the landscapes of Asia. They are true global citizens, a testament to the power of evolution to create something so widespread and so successful. When you start to look closely at acacia, you realize it's more than just a plant. It's a cornerstone of its ecosystem. Think of it as the landlord of the local neighborhood. It provides food, it offers shelter, and it even improves the very ground it grows in, making life possible for countless other species, from the tiniest microbe in the soil to the largest browsing mammal. This ability to not just exist, but to actively enrich its surroundings is what makes the acacia so utterly brilliant. It's a lesson in giving back, a principle that we see repeated time and time again in the natural world. It's a plant that builds communities around itself. So join me as we take a closer look at this remarkable genus. We'll delve into what makes an acacia, exploring its unique features and its clever survival strategies. We will uncover the vital roles these plants play in supporting wildlife and maintaining healthy ecosystems. We will also see how humans for thousands of years have formed a close relationship with these versatile trees, using them for everything from food and medicine to timber and tools. It's a journey that will take us from the sun-scorched savannas of Africa to the vibrant bushland of Australia, all in celebration of the humble yet heroic acacia. What does an acacia look like? Well, that's a bit like asking what a bird looks like. There is incredible variety within the family, a beautiful spectrum of shapes and sizes. Some are towering trees, reaching for the sky and creating a broad, shady canopy that offers respite from the blazing sun. Others are much more modest, growing as dense, multi-stemmed shrubs that form thick, impenetrable thickets. This diversity in form is a direct response to their environment. A tall, elegant tree might be perfect for a savanna with spaced-out competition, while a low, sprawling shrub is ideal for surviving in harsh, windy or arid conditions where staying close to the ground is a smart move. The leaves are one of the most intriguing features. Many people picture acacias with delicate, feathery, fern-like leaves. These are called bipinnate leaves, and they are common in many species, especially those from wetter climates. However, many acacias, particularly the Australian species, have evolved a brilliant adaptation. As the seedling grows, it replaces these soft leaves with flattened, leaf-like structures called phyllodes. These are actually modified leaf stalks, and they are tougher, waxier, and much better at conserving water in dry environments. It's a clever evolutionary trick, a perfect example of a plant tailoring its uniform to suit the local weather conditions, reducing water loss through transpiration. And then there are the flowers. Oh, the flowers. This is where acacias truly put on a show. Typically, they produce masses of small, fluffy flowers clustered together in either elongated spikes or dense, globular heads. The colour is most often a brilliant, vibrant yellow or a creamy white, and when a tree is in full bloom, it can look like a cloud of pure sunshine has descended upon the landscape. These flowers are not just for our viewing pleasure, of course. They are a vital source of pollen and nectar for a huge range of insects, from native bees to beetles and wasps, which in turn pollinate the plants, ensuring the next generation of acacias can begin. After the spectacle of the flowers comes the final part of the portrait, the fruit. Like other members of the pea family, acacias produce their seeds inside pods. These pods can vary just as much as the rest of the plant. Some are long and thin, like a green bean. Others are short, flat, and woody, while some are curiously coiled or twisted into strange and wonderful shapes. Inside these pods lie the seeds, which are often hard and durable, designed to survive for years in the soil, patiently waiting for the right conditions, perhaps the heat from a bushfire, to trigger their germination and start the cycle of life all over again. It's a complete and fascinating life story, all told through its form. Acacias are true pioneers, masters of colonizing tough and challenging environments where other, more delicate plants might struggle to gain a foothold. Their natural home is vast, spanning continents and climates with remarkable adaptability. The greatest concentration of species, a real hotspot of acacia diversity, is found in Australia. Here they are known as wattles, and they are an iconic part of almost every landscape, from the dry red centre of the continent to the humid coastal forests. They are so integral to the Australian identity that the golden wattle, Acacia pycnantha, is the nation's official floral emblem. Its bright yellow blooms a symbol of unity and the spirit of the land. Venturing beyond Australia, we find another major centre of acacia diversity in the sun-drenched savannas and arid regions of Africa. Here, they are the classic trees of the safari postcard, often with a distinctive flat-topped canopy that has been shaped by the browsing of giraffes. Species like the umbrella thorn acacia, Vachellia tortilis, are vital components of this ecosystem, providing shade, food, and structure in an otherwise open landscape. These African acacias are famous for their formidable thorns, which are a brilliant defense mechanism against hungry herbivores, a clear and sharp message to any animal that tries to take too big of a bite from their precious leaves. The Americas also host their own native acacia species, though not in the same staggering numbers as Australia or Africa. They are found from the southwestern United States down through Mexico and into Central and South America. In these regions, they often grow in dry forests, scrublands, and desert areas, once again demonstrating their preference for sunny, well-drained locations. These American varieties play similar ecological roles, supporting local wildlife and adapting to environments that experience long periods of drought. They are a testament to the ancient, global distribution of this incredibly successful plant family, showing how different branches of the family tree have evolved in isolation. Finally, we can also find native acacias dotted across Asia, from the Middle East to the Indian subcontinent and into Southeast Asia. While they may not dominate the landscape in the same way they do in Australia, they are still important members of their local ecosystems. This incredible global distribution highlights the core strengths of the Acacia genus: a tolerance for drought, an ability to thrive in poor soils, and a general love for sunshine. They are not plants for the deep, dark, damp forest floor. They are creatures of light and open spaces, hardy survivors that bring life and vitality to some of the world's toughest places. One of the most remarkable talents of the acacia, and a key reason for its success, is something that happens invisibly, deep in the soil. Most acacias have a superpower. They can fix nitrogen. Now, nitrogen is an essential nutrient for all plant growth, a bit like protein is for us. While the air we breathe is full of nitrogen gas, most plants can't use it in this form. They need it to be converted into a usable form in the soil, such as ammonia or nitrates. This is where the acacia's clever partnership comes into play, a beautiful example of natural symbiosis that benefits the entire ecosystem. Living on the roots of an acacia tree are special bacteria called rhizobia. The tree forms little nodules or bumps on its roots to provide a safe home for these microscopic helpers. In return for this shelter and a bit of sugary food from the plant, the bacteria perform a crucial service. They take nitrogen gas from the air pockets in the soil and fix it, converting it into a form that the acacia can absorb and use to grow strong and healthy. This gives the acacia a massive advantage, especially in poor, nutrient-deficient soils where other plants would struggle to survive. It's like having your own personal fertilizer factory attached to your roots. This ability doesn't just benefit the acacia tree itself. It's an act of incredible generosity to the entire plant community. As the acacia's leaves, twigs, and eventually the whole tree die and decompose, this precious, fixed nitrogen is released back into the soil. This enriches the topsoil, making it more fertile and allowing other non-fixing plants to grow nearby. In this way, acacias act as pioneer species, moving into barren or disturbed areas and gradually improving the soil quality, paving the way for a more diverse and complex ecosystem to develop. They are the gardeners of the wild, preparing the ground for others to flourish. This process is fundamental to the health of many of the world's habitats. On the African savanna, the nitrogen fixed by acacias helps to support the grasses that feed vast herds of wildebeest and zebra. In Australia, they rejuvenate the soil after bushfires, allowing the bushland to recover more quickly. By enriching the soil, they boost the overall productivity of the ecosystem, supporting more life at every level of the food chain. It's a quiet, hidden process, but its impact is enormous. The humble acacia, through its partnership with tiny bacteria, truly engineers the world around it, making it a richer and more vibrant place. An acacia tree is never just a tree. It's a bustling, thriving metropolis, a complete ecosystem in its own right. Its branches, leaves, flowers, and even its trunk provide a home, a hiding place, and a restaurant for an astonishing array of creatures. In the vast, open landscapes where acacias often grow, they can be the only significant source of shelter for miles around. Birds flock to their branches to build their nests, finding a safe vantage point away from ground-dwelling predators. The dense, often thorny foliage provides excellent cover, a safe haven where smaller birds and mammals can escape the watchful eyes of hawks and eagles. The tree is also a well-stocked pantry. The leaves and tender shoots are a primary food source for many large herbivores. In Africa, giraffes with their long necks are perfectly adapted to browse on the high leaves of acacia trees, while elephants, antelopes, and gazelles also rely on them for sustenance. In Australia, kangaroos and wallabies will nibble on the foliage. The plant's seeds are another rich food source. They're packed with protein and fats, making them a valuable meal for birds like parrots and pigeons, as well as for small rodents and even ants, who often carry the seeds away, helping to disperse them in the process. Even the flowers, with their abundant pollen and nectar, are a feast for the senses and for countless insects. Bees, wasps, butterflies, and beetles are all drawn to the bright, fragrant blooms. This flurry of activity turns the tree into a buzzing hub of life during its flowering season, and these insects in turn become food for insect-eating birds, lizards, and other predators. Some acacia species have even developed special structures called extrafloral nectaries, little cups of nectar on their leaves or stems, which attract ants. The ants feed on the nectar and, in return, act as a tiny security force, aggressively defending the tree against any leaf-eating insects or larger animals that try to harm it. The relationship between acacias and wildlife is a perfect illustration of coevolution, where different species have grown and adapted together over millions of years. The tree provides for the animals, and the animals, in their own way, provide for the tree. They pollinate its flowers, they disperse its seeds, and, in the case of the ants, they even protect it. From the roots in the soil to the very top of its canopy, the acacia is a landlord to a vast community of tenants, each playing its part in the life of this incredible plant. It stands not as a solitary individual, but as the heart of a vibrant and interconnected community. For as long as people have lived in the lands where acacias grow, they have had a deep and multifaceted relationship with these remarkable plants. This is not a recent discovery. It's an ancient connection woven into the fabric of cultures across continents. Indigenous Australians, for example, have a relationship with wattle that stretches back for tens of thousands of years. They are masters of understanding the local environment, and they developed an encyclopedic knowledge of how to use different acacia species. The seeds of several species, such as mulga, were a staple food source, a reliable and nutritious harvest in an often unforgiving climate. The process of preparing these seeds was a skillful one. The pods were harvested and the seeds were threshed out. They would then be roasted and painstakingly ground into a coarse flour using special grinding stones. This flour could be mixed with a little water to form a dough, which was then cooked in the hot ashes of a fire to make a type of seed cake or damper. This was a vital source of protein and carbohydrates. Beyond food, the wood was used for making tools and weapons like spears, boomerangs, and digging sticks, while the bark and roots of some species were used to make traditional medicines or to stun fish, making them easier to catch. In Africa and the Middle East, the story is similar. The relationship with acacia is ancient and profound. For nomadic peoples like the Bedouin and the Maasai, acacia trees are a vital resource in arid lands. They provide shade for people and livestock. Their foliage is fodder for goats and camels, and their wood is a primary source of fuel for cooking and warmth. The strong, durable timber was, and still is, used for building fences to create enclosures, or bomas, to protect livestock from predators like lions and hyenas at night. The tree is a symbol of survival and sustenance in the desert and savanna. This long history of use demonstrates a deep practical understanding of the plant's properties. People learned which species had the hardest wood, which produced the best gum, and which had seeds that were good to eat. This knowledge was passed down through generations, becoming a cornerstone of cultural heritage. The acacia was not just a plant in the landscape. It was a partner in daily life, a provider of food, shelter, tools, and medicine. It is a powerful reminder that for much of human history, our survival has been directly linked to our ability to live in harmony with and understand the natural world around us. Beyond its traditional uses, acacia continues to be an incredibly valuable resource for people all around the world in modern times. One of its most celebrated products is its timber. The wood from many acacia species is renowned for its strength, durability, and often beautiful grain. Species like the Australian blackwood produce a rich, dark timber that is highly prized by furniture makers and woodworkers. It is used to create stunning tables, chairs, cabinets, and even musical instruments like guitars. Its hardness also makes it excellent for flooring, where it can withstand years of heavy foot traffic with grace. Another globally significant product harvested from acacia is its gum. Several species, most notably Senegalia senegal in the Sahel region of Africa, exude a sappy substance from their bark, particularly when it's been damaged. This sap dries into hard, glassy nodules known as gum arabic. For thousands of years, this substance has been a valuable commodity. The ancient Egyptians used it as a binder in their paints and as an adhesive in the mummification process. Today, it is a hugely important ingredient in the food industry, used as a stabilizer and emulsifier in soft drinks, candies, and marshmallows. It is also used in pharmaceuticals, inks, and watercolor paints. The bark of many acacia species is also rich in a class of chemical compounds called tannins. For centuries, tannins have been the key ingredient in the process of tanning leather. When animal hides are soaked in a tannin-rich solution, the tannins bind to the proteins in the hide, making it more durable, flexible, and resistant to decay. Black wattle is particularly famous for its high tannin content and has been grown in plantations around the world specifically for the leather industry. Tannins from acacia have also been used to produce dyes, giving fabrics a range of earthy brown and reddish colours. From landscaping to honey production, the list of uses goes on. Many acacia species, with their beautiful flowers and tolerance for dry conditions, are popular ornamental plants in parks and gardens. They are excellent for xeriscaping, the practice of gardening with minimal water use. Furthermore, the nectar from their flowers is collected by bees, which produce a delicious and often light-coloured honey. In every part of the plant, from its wood and bark to its gum and flowers, the acacia offers something of value. It is a true botanical treasure chest, providing a vast array of natural products that enrich our lives in countless ways. Inviting an acacia into your garden can be a wonderfully rewarding experience, especially if you live in a climate that suits its needs. These plants can bring a splash of brilliant colour, interesting foliage, and a touch of wild beauty to your outdoor space. The first and most important rule for growing a happy acacia is to give it plenty of sun. These are sun-loving plants. born of open savannas and arid bushland. They will not thrive in a shady corner tucked away behind a tall building or under the canopy of other larger trees. Choose the sunniest, most open spot in your garden, and your acacia will thank you for it. When it comes to soil, acacias are generally not fussy. In fact, they often do best in soils that are not overly rich or fertile, as this mimics their natural environment. The most critical factor is good drainage. They absolutely detest having wet feet, meaning their roots should not be sitting in waterlogged soil for long periods. If you have heavy clay soil, it's a good idea to improve the drainage by adding some grit or sand, or by planting your acacia on a slight slope or in a raised garden bed. For most species, a sandy or gravelly loam is absolutely perfect, allowing water to drain away freely after a good soaking. Watering is a simple affair. Once an acacia is established in the ground, it is remarkably drought tolerant. This makes it an excellent choice for gardeners who want to conserve water, or for those living in areas with hot, dry summers. For the first year after planting, you should water it regularly to help it develop a strong root system. After that, you can reduce watering significantly. A deep soaking every few weeks during a prolonged dry spell is usually more than enough. It's always better to underwater an acacia than to overwater it. Too much kindness in the form of water can lead to root rot, which is often fatal. Pruning is not always necessary, but a little light trimming can help to keep the plant looking tidy and encourage a denser, more bushy shape. The best time to prune is right after the tree has finished flowering. This gives it plenty of time to produce new growth that will carry the flowers for the following year. Avoid hard pruning back into old, thick wood, as many acacias do not respond well to this. A gentle trim to remove any dead or crossing branches and to lightly shape the plant is all that is required to keep your garden acacia healthy, happy, and looking its best for years to come. While we celebrate the many virtues of the acacia, it is crucial that we also approach it with a sense of responsibility and care. The very same traits that make acacias such successful pioneers in their native lands, their rapid growth, their tolerance of poor soils, and their prolific seed production, can cause significant problems when they are planted in the wrong places. When an acacia is introduced to a new continent or a new ecosystem where it did not evolve naturally, it can sometimes become what we call an invasive species. This means it can escape from gardens and plantations and spread uncontrollably into the wild. In its new home, the introduced acacia may not have the natural enemies, the insects, diseases, and browsing animals, that kept it in check back in its native environment. Without these controls, it can outcompete the local native plants for sunlight, water, and nutrients. This can lead to a dramatic shift in the natural balance of the ecosystem. The invasive acacias can form dense, impenetrable thickets that shade out native wildflowers and prevent the seedlings of native trees from growing. This loss of plant diversity can have a domino effect, impacting the insects, birds, and other animals that depended on those native plants for their survival. Some species have become particularly notorious invaders. For example, the Cautomundra wattle from Australia, with its beautiful silver leaves and bright yellow flowers, has become a serious environmental weed in places like South Africa, California, and parts of Europe. Similarly, some African acacias have caused problems in other parts of the world. This doesn't mean that all acacias are bad, or that we should stop planting them altogether. It simply means that we need to be informed and responsible gardeners. We must choose our plants wisely, considering the potential impact on our local environment. Before you plant an acacia, it's essential to do a little research. Check with your local council, nursery, or conservation authority to find out which species are safe to plant in your area and which are considered invasive. Often, there are many beautiful, non-invasive species, or even local native acacias, that would be a much better choice for your garden. By making informed decisions, we can continue to enjoy the beauty and resilience of these fantastic plants in our gardens without putting our precious local ecosystems at risk. It's about finding the right plant for the right place, ensuring both our gardens and the wider environment can thrive together.